So today I decided to change out this sprocket. Now I've actually removed the retainer already from it, so I just want to make sure that I could loosen it. Most people, when they look at the sprockets, they look at the wear here up the top. But the front sprocket is a little bit different to the back one because it has splines obviously on the inside, and as you can see, this one's quite loose on the splines. And what that will do in time, it'll wear out the actual spline on the shaft. And what you'll see on a lot of Brosses, and it's kind of one of the number one questions you ask when you're buying a Bros, is this front sprocket welded? So what a lot of people will do is they'll actually weld this on, and then there's very little you can do with that. The shaft is bunched then once you do that, and they do that because the shaft is worn out. So you'll have to replace the shaft itself. So in order for that not to happen on this bike, and the shaft is fine, I've already looked at it, I've gotten a new sprocket, as you can see, and this one is a little bit different. This one has a rubber bushing between the inner part and the outer part, and what that does is it stops the actual takeoff vibration. It dampens that down a little bit. So it means there's slightly less wear on the chain, there's less wear obviously on the splines themselves, there's less movement, because there's a kind of a rubber shock, if you will, between the two. So I've decided to go with this one. I've never used one of these on the Bros, but it makes sense on a twin. You know, there's a lot of torque taken off, and as you can see, even the tolerance here, it's much. Look, there's almost no movement on the actual shaft compared to the other one. So the way this is held, there's a little retainer. It's kind of offset, it's not exactly in the middle. It only goes one way. Let's have a look. This way. Kind of goes on, you rotate it a little bit, and you put your bolts in. This way. Yeah, it's this way. Okay, so I've got two new bolts. Just to be sure. Okay. Put on the new chain. Now I'm going to have to cut some links off this chain. So this is 525 120 links. Can't remember now how many links is on this bike. I'll have to check now in a minute. Now, got a nice gold chain for it. I think it'll look nice on a black bike. Yeah, there's a split link. As you can see, there's a split link here that I can open up. So I'll do that now. So here's my chain. I picked a nice gold one. I thought it might look nice against the black. Everything is black on the bike, so I think the gold actually stands out nicely. It's a 525 chain. So basically it's a 5 pitch. So the distance between here, the middle of that and the middle of that is 5, and then the thickness of this. So you could calculate, but I know it's a 525, and I know that the sprocket is a 525 sprocket, and so is the back one, because that's what the bike needs, and that's what I got. The other I suppose is the amount of teeth that you have on the front and on the back. So again, I've matched that to the manual, so I'm leaving everything as stock. I'm not adjusting it. So the last thing is the chain that I got has 120 links, and I need 112, which means 8 links I have to take away. And as you can see, each chain has an inner and an outer link, so I have to take away 8 of them. So 4 outer, 4 inner links. So when you're counting them, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and by 2 is 8. So yeah, look, let me chop off 8 links, and yeah, and close this thing up. Okay, So I've chopped the chain. I just put in the link just for a minute, just to see whether it is right. Now I'm just going to put my tool in. Kind of slots in this way anyway, and then I'm going to use the bolts on the back of this bolt, just to gently adjust. Now you can do using the handle. This works just as well. See, you can see that chain getting tighter. Yeah. Nice and tight. Okay. No, just don't want to over tighten it. Right, so I have the pin in, and I've just tightened this a little bit, and as you can see it's still quite slacky, isn't it? It does almost touch the swing arm. It probably does if I pull it too hard. So this adjustment, a lot of people, what happens is they actually make this chain too tight, and as soon as you sit on the bike, this swing arm moves up, so this chain actually gets even tighter. The manual has 3 settings, so there's you get one of these kind of measures in the manual or with the bike, but most of these bikes don't have one, so I made one up. So there's 3 different stages on this. There's a 33mm, 43mm and 53mm, and the top of these little pins is to sit in around the 43mm line on the most slack. So the most slack will be in the middle. So if you put that down, I'm kind of around there now, in around there. So that's the kind of slack. So if you don't, I just made this up myself there 2 seconds ago, but this is about how slack you want the chain to be. It feels wrong, but as soon as you put your weight on it, obviously if you're heavier, you know, this shock compresses more, and you need to loosen this a bit more. But kind of for an average rider, average size, this is how tight this chain should be. What happens, a lot of people will over tighten this. So lastly, I'll just put this pin in. I'll put some grease on it. Now, usually you get some grease with these chains. For some reason there was none with my one, but you can't go wrong. You can put as much as you like in there. You can't go wrong. Alright, so you grease the link up. Don't forget the little rubbers. Now, that goes on like that. This bad boy. Just compress it and it'll slide in. Slide in nicely. Just use your long nose pliers. Just grab the edge of it. Squeeze until she clicks. That's it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's in all the way. It's in. Yeah, that's great. Like I said, it is a little bit slack, but as soon as you sit on the bike, that sorts itself out. So I won't worry about that. So lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten this bolt at the end, just to get that eccentric wheel that doesn't move on me. There is a washer. There's the bolt. It comes with a washer, so don't forget the washer. I'll just tighten that up. No, there's no need to over tighten that. That's good enough. Now, I fitted this chain without any special tool, just purely because I had that split link. if you had to crimp it, you need the kit, and I have a kit here, but anyway, there's no need here. I just used an angle grinder, so to chop off the spare links. But as you can see, it can be done without any special tools. So that's it for this video. Another step closer. I can now fit that this hose and close all this off.